And today I want to paint a picture of what's possible because more than just escaping burnout, I know you want to feel alive again. I know that you want to feel joy and presence and margin, and you want to feel like you again. And that's not too much to ask, friend. Welcome to Life Coaching for Mompreneurs, the show that helps you to win at work without losing at home. I'm your host, Martine Williams, and today we are diving into a special mini-series called The Reset You Didn't Know You Needed. If you've been feeling stretched thin, stuck in survival mode, or like you've lost a little bit of yourself in that daily grind, this series is for you. And it's leading up to something powerful, a free 3-day live workshop I'm hosting called The Work Life Reset. It's happening April 22nd through the 24th, and I created it to help you feel like you again with more clarity, energy, and peace. You can save your spot right now at martinwilliams.com/work life reset. All right, let's get into today's episode. Hey, friends, and welcome back to Life Coaching for Mompreneurs and another episode of our special mini series, The Reset You Didn't Know You Needed. I'm having so much fun with these, and I hope that you are too. I hope you're finding them helpful. And if you've been with me through the last few episodes, then you've heard the truth about burnout, why you cannot keep going like this, and what a real reset actually looks like. And if you haven't, and this is like your very first episode, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. Feel free to go back and binge listen to the other episodes that we have had in this mini series and any other podcast episode that we have here on the show. I know that you will find them helpful. You will feel encouraged, inspired, maybe a little challenged depending on which episode you listen to, but it's all from a place of love. Now, I was on a clarity call with a client the other day, and one of the things that she said was, I'm miserable. And I said, I'm glad. And I know as you're listening to hearing me say that, you might think that's super insensitive of you. But let me explain why I said that to her. And it's because when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, we make a change. So I knew she was in a really good place, as awful as it may feel to be where she's at the pain level to do something about it and to take a next step. And it may not be jumping the Grand Canyon of, like leaping, taking a huge leap, but just the next step. And that's what a reset is. It's just taking that next step. It's taking a step back to be open and aware of what is going on, what you want, why you want it, what's working, what's not working, all the things. And today I want to paint a picture of what's possible. Because more than just escaping burnout, I know you want to feel alive again. I know that you want to feel joy and presence and margin, and you want to feel like you again. And that's not too much to ask, friend. In fact, it's what you were made for. We were not made and created to walk around with the zombie look on our face, exhausted, lost, confused, in chaos. One day you feel like you're on top of the world. The next day you feel like you're about to go 6 feet under. That's not how we were created to live and to be. And so today we're going to talk about a vision of the life on the other side of burnout. What feeling like yourself again really means, why most people settle for coping instead of creating change, and how the work-life reset helps you start living in alignment again. So let's take a minute and just visualize it. Again, I want to take you back to a season in my life when everything looked successful on paper. I had a very successful business. I was showing up for my family, leading a large organization, coaching women, but I had completely lost myself in the process. One day I sat down and I realized that I couldn't even plan a fun goal for myself. Like nothing sparked excitement. I had been so busy keeping up with everything and everyone that I had forgotten how to even be myself. It was really strange. And if that's where you are right now, no judgment, no shame, no beating yourself up for it because it's just where you are right now. It's not who you are, it's just where you are right now. I had lost clarity, I had lost passion, and honestly, I had lost the rhythm that made me feel like me. And here's what I learned: rest wasn't something that I had to earn. I learned that self care wasn't selfish, it was the strategy I had been missing. And self care is a word that kind of gets watered down, kind of like the reset, like bubble baths and spa days and all of that. But there's so much more for what self care is. And I'll probably talk about this in the reset. It wasn't in my original plan, but I probably will talk about this because I think it just can't be said enough what self care really is. But it was the strategy that I was missing. And I also learned that clarity didn't come from hustling harder. Listen, I wasn't born a hustler, but my dad is an entrepreneur. He had restaurants. And so I learned to work at a very early age, babysitting and then helping my dad in his restaurants. And then, I just have always worked, and working hard was really just a big piece of my identity. And so clarity didn't come from me hustling harder, but that was kind of a belief that I had back then. And it actually came from getting quiet, from getting honest and letting myself reset, getting quiet so I could hear my own voice and not what everyone else was telling me I should do, I should be. It was all about hearing my own voice. And as a woman of faith, hearing what God was telling me in that season and what God wanted for me. And that reset didn't happen overnight. So this reset is not going to like poof, fix everything. So I want to level set the expectation there. But it can be a turning point. It could be the one baby step that changes everything. It was a turning point for me when I was sitting on that couch and realizing that I didn't even know what I wanted to do for fun anymore. And I got quiet and started to rebuild my rhythm, kind of get my groove back, if you will. I reconnected with what I value and I started showing up, not just as a business owner or a mom, but as me, as Martine, freely and unapologetically. And I'll share more stories with you at the Work Life Reset. So I hope that you will see me there. But I have lots and lots of stories. I've been an entrepreneur for 18 years. And so I have lots of stories of being a mom, being an entrepreneur, things I've done well, things that I haven't done well. So I'm sure I will share some more of those in the reset. But for today's episode, I want you to think about what would it look like to wake up with a clear sense of direction instead of dread? It's possible. It's possible. Not overnight. For some of you, you didn't get to where you are overnight. It's not going to be an overnight quick fix. What would it look like to trust yourself to make decisions without second guessing everything? What would it look like to end your day feeling proud and not guilty? That's a big one. That's one that I still today have to choose healthy thoughts around. What would it look like to feel joy again? Like real joy and excitement, fire in your belly for your work, for your relationships, and your everyday life. This isn't about chasing perfection. If you're new here, we're all about progress. We're not about perfection here. And it's about building a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. So why do most of us mompreneurs stay in survival mode? Number one, you think it's selfish to slow down. You think it's something that you have to earn. You think that one day, and we're going to talk about that, the work life reset, but maybe you're afraid to disappoint people. And so you just keep surviving. And here's a spoiler alert. You will disappoint people. That's a unrealistic standard to think you won't disappoint people because you're human and you're not perfect. Another reason we stay in survival mode is we've forgotten what thriving even feels like. And this has been really one of the most amazing things with the work that I do with my clients one-on-one and in group is when they get on the other side of this survival mode and burnout cycle, they're like, oh, this is what it feels like. It's amazing. And then you're like, I don't ever want to go back. And so then it's putting up preventative measures and boundaries to help prevent it from happening again. And it's not that it won't happen again, but you'll find yourself getting out of it and way sooner and not in it as many times. So here's the thing. You deserve more than survival. You deserve to feel strong, to feel centered and fulfilled. I was talking to, I don't know who I was talking to, but we were talking about this idea. I think I was interviewing a guest for the podcast. And we were just talking about this how we feel selfish when we slow down, when we pause, when we think of ourselves. And especially women in faith, particularly. And I honestly feel like it's more irresponsible and more selfish not to be taking care of yourself. Because how can you be used at the level of greatness that the Lord wants to use you if you are burnt out? If you are not taking care of your body, your mind, and your soul. So not only do you not deserve to be living in survival mode, you deserve to feel strong, centered, and fulfilled. And you can't show up as the best version of you for everyone else who God's put in your life if you are running on fumes. You just can't. So you are never meant to run on empty. You are never meant to carry it all alone. You are never meant to live in a loop of burnout, hamster wheel, however you want to define it. You were created for joy. You were created for impact. You were created for rhythm. And this is your invitation to take a step into that, which is why I'm doing this mini series, which is why I'm spending so much time on this topic and to invite you to your next step, which is the work-life reset. So again, it's a 3-day live workshop happening April 22nd through 24th. It's completely free. And it will give you the tools, the support, and the space that you need to reset your focus, shift your mindset and your habits, and realign your life for sustainable success. So again, this is not a quick fix. We're going to do as much as we can in these 3 days, but just taking one step at a time, one day at a time through this reset, you will feel better. You will start the process of feeling like you again. And I know you're tired of not being her, not being the best version of you. You have big goals and big dreams. You have things that you want to do in your business. You have children who you want to be present for, and that you want to be fully present at work and fully present at home. And it is possible, but not in a state of burnout. We've got to have a reset. So save your seat at martinewilliams.com/work-life-reset. Let's stop waiting for one day and let's make this your day one. So thank you again for joining me for this series. And I am looking forward to seeing you on the inside of the reset. And we have one more episode for this series. And I'll see you then. All right, friends, if this episode hit home and you're realizing, wow, I might actually need a reset, then don't wait. Join me for the Work-Life Reset. It's a free 3-day live workshop happening April 22nd through 24th. It's the place you want to be. You're going to walk away with clarity, confidence, and a reset rhythm that actually works for your life. So you want to go to martinewilliams.com/work-life-reset to save your spot. And if you know a fellow mompreneur, and I know you do, who's been running on empty, send this episode her way. Friend, you don't need to earn your rest. You just need a rhythm that sustains you. And I will catch you in the next episode.